Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here,
And BlueDragonFive.
and welcome to the Kickback Cafe, the show where we kick back, relax, and talk about anything but Disney. And tonight, we will be talking about the third and final short animated film in the Justice League Gods and Monsters Chronicles series, which is a build-up to the animated movie of the same name. So, BlueDragonFive, you want to give us the kind of skimmy on that little thing?
Sure. So overall, the premise of this one is just the premise overall. What's going on here? So Bruce Timm, he's been away from a while doing the direct-to-video animated films. Bruce Timm over the years has accumulated a lot of pulls. So pretty much one day he just walks into Warner's animation. He says, "Hey guys, listen, I have an idea." He gets a meeting, and I heard him in an interview recently, just kind of saying the whole process of doing the Gods and Monsters shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And he pretty much says, "Well, you know, I can't influence what the decisions are by the company, but I can get a meeting whenever I want to," which I thought was, oh, that's good old Bruce Timm. He's getting some clout. That's nice. Anyway, so pretty much he said he had an idea for, because he had an idea for kind of a series for Justice League, which they were all more than willing to hear. And then they said, well, why don't you just do a direct-to-video animated movie, which kind of gave us the whole idea for Gods and Monsters, but you got a bit of blend of both with this little mini-series build-up of these three shorts that are going to be kind of preludes, or at least one-off prelude shorts to the movie Gods and Monsters, which is a reimagining of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Basically.
Sure. So we already went through the Batman one, which was, what was the Batman one called again?
Batman one is called Twisted. The Superman one is called Bomb.
And, of course, the Batman one, I think, is a really kind of good House of Horrors, really creepy Harley Quinn showcase. Bomb, the Superman one, BlueDragonFive, and I already talked about it. I thought it was terrific. I thought it was like the kind of animated short film that should win Oscars at the Academy Awards. I really thought it was really well done.
Right.
But, so this one, I think this one was probably the least substantial of the three, but there's still a lot of enjoyment to be had with it.
So let me lay out a premise for you. Basically,
Sure.
Cobra, the organization, which really hasn't changed much in the reimagining. Yeah, not everything is.
Cobra!
Yeah, essentially that's pretty much what they got going on. Essentially.
Okay.
I mean, they're a little more sleeker, a little more kind of like taken seriously, but yeah, it's kind of the same thing. It's pretty much, Cobra, they have a super weapon. Steve Trevor goes to stop them, and Wonder Woman helps save the day. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. But also, one last thing. I found some recent news recently that Bruce Timm has confirmed that he's working on a season 2 for this, so we're going to get more shorts like this on Machinima.
Interesting. Cool. We'll see how it all... I'll be interested to see how much the shorts tie into what we're going to see in the movie. Like, most specifically, of course, the implications of Bomb. And if that's really going to affect Superman, I'm sure it will in some measure.
What's the name of this one anyway?
The name of this one is Giant, I believe.
Appropriate. Okay, so what was your initial reaction to this overall? Like some of kind of your gut feelings on this?
Yeah, well, to tell you the truth, my gut feelings weren't exactly that positive. And this is just probably because I was coming off of the high that was Bomb, and I was like, oh man. So it was just like, okay, that was fun. There were a few good moments in it, but overall it's not really that substantial, and I still kind of feel that way. Mostly though, I tell you the truth, I'm not a big Wonder Woman fan, and quite frankly, I've become a little disillusioned by the character because of the whole Michelle McLaren situation over at DC. I'm kind of like, oh god, things are not going well. I don't know. But
they did show her costume recently. It looks really cool. It's a lot more red and blues in there.
That's cool, but but keep in mind the actress.
Oh, they had like a mock-up of like what she looks like the face and everything morphed into it. She looks really good, I gotta tell you.
Okay, well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, you know me, dude. I haven't been optimistic about the DC universe in cinematic form since.
From what I hear, we're going to get, if not a full trailer, we're going to get some definite kind of reveals and stuff at Comic-Con this year.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised about that, especially because Marvel's not going to be there, Sony's not going to be there, Paramount's not going to be there, so
it's all
DC's just going to roll the roost.
It's Star Wars,
yeah. Yes.
Anyway, so my reaction is, overall, I will agree with you full-heartedly, Tiki. In comparison to the other two, this one is probably the weakest, most definitely. However, looking at like some of I think there are a lot of good qualities to this. I think it's really fun. It's fun, action packed. You know, it's got a lot of kind of Bruce Timm's wheelhouse doing Justice League. He knows how to really stage some kind of like some great actiony set pieces. You know, I kind of got this kind of serial sense of it all. Like it felt like kind of the third act of a serial almost. You know, like I can appreciate.
Will Wonder Woman make it out of this alive?
I mean, I can appreciate how World War II it feels. You know, like kind of like a World War II kind of. See, that was one of one's big things. That, you know, she's really big during World War II, kind of like the woman empowering thing. And that was like kind of her wheelhouse. A lot of people, I assume, maybe Michelle McLaren. I'm not sure. Like they like to go period with her a lot of the time. You know, they like to go like she's kind of in the World War II state. Like Steve Trevor's always a pilot who he lands and gets shot down. So people always speculate who shot him down.
Interesting. Okay.
So the point is that's kind of how it usually goes. The point is, regardless, it does have like this really like kind of action hero in a war situation vibe, and then kind of Wonder Woman coming in and save the day.
But there is a really good rapport between Trevor's and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but it's also just Trevor's and the bad guy seems again really kind of World War II, like kind of Captain America: First Avenger vibe to it all, you know.
Oh yeah.
Also, again, it's not as outstanding as the other two, but for me, I mean, I thought Steve was pretty cool, which I wasn't really expecting. I mean, I thought he was much cooler than I've seen him before. And the boom tube sword was my favorite part. I love the boom tube sword, the mother box sword, I should say. Sorry, the boom tube is what happens when you use the mother box.
Now, what are the kind of like alternate universe sort of changes to this? Because I'm not really familiar with Wonder Woman to begin with.
We want to save that for later, or do you want to get into that now?
It's up to you, I guess.
Well, let's just look at this for what it is, and we'll get into like kind of what was changed about.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's do it. So you want to get right into the recap? Sure.
Okay, so let's get into the recap. So basically, Steve Trevor has been sent by Amanda Waller. So again, we're kind of tying all these little shorts together in a way.
I noticed that. Yeah.
So Amanda Waller, who is the president in this universe, she has sent Steve Trevor to stop the Cobra weapon. Cobra! And, you know, we got some really kind of, to me, I thought it was like a lot of fun bad guy banter, you know, between the two of them. And like saying, you know, we're going to send her a little gift for her inauguration.
Oh, you know how Waller hates to be out of the loop.
And pretty much, you know, it's interesting. I'm wondering like how the whole, from last we saw her and Dom, wondering like where is this canonically kind of set in that universe? If she's just fully present by then, or is she about to be made president at that point? I'm not sure.
Right? Yeah. That's an interesting question.
The point is like it's inauguration of some kind. They says well, you won't be able to see the party and see what got cooked up for, but I'll be sure to send your regards. You know, point is like kind of classic World War II. Like, any last words, hero? But you know, I thought it was pretty cool. They got serial.
I'm going to conveniently stall before I shoot you.
No, the stall. That's not the stalling, T. The stalling's later on. I guess that's a big gripe I have.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, so then basically before Trevor's about to be shot in the head, which again, I appreciate again, look at the gun design too. Gun's really kind of World War II design too, like little clips sticking out in there.
Yeah, it's definitely like retro futuristic,
which is nice. Again, that scene really does well, like how these ambiguous time, like anachronisms and stuff.
Sure.
In a good way. And so then Wonder Woman swoops in nick of time through a boom tube that's been created by her mother box sword. She swoops in for a quick team up, which by the way, I love how she literally just like, you know, she beats up a few bad guys. She just grabs Trevor by the shoulder and just like throws him around.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, so Steve Trevor throughout this whole thing, again, he's a little more cooler. He's a little more of an action spy. He's more spy-like than he usually is, which is really cool to see. You know, he's like more like an action hero. Usually he's kind of the idea of Steve Trevor is kind of the damsel in distress, but he's not like a weak guy or anything. We like him still. But this is more action-y. This is the most action-packed I've seen Steve Trevor.
Now you're a big gadget guy, of course, so I'm sure you appreciated the little mini grenades.
Oh yes. Well, yeah, more. It's like kind of they're in the design like the Batman smoke pellets, but yeah, they are kind of like mini grenades.
Right. And Wonder Woman, man, she's just straight up like stabbing people in the chest. Like it gets pretty violent.
And so again, this is something even with regular Wonder Woman that, you know, she's kind of like it's always ambiguous. Like she fights a lot of monsters, and she's like more and more willing to kill them and stab them. So again, they're monsters, so it's in a kind of a grayish territory with her. And the idea is like she would be the one more willing to, cause she's a warrior, an Amazonian warrior. She's more willing to kill than Batman or Superman might be.
Sure. Okay.
And there are actually many stories in the comics of Wonder Woman actually going too far and kind of offending Batman, Superman.
Oh, interesting. Nice.
Like there's like one story she basically saves. I forget if she saves Batman or saves Superman, but it might be Superman. She saves Superman by like snapping a guy's neck, and obviously they have issues with that.
Right. Right.
So point is,
dear, and then years later we would have Man of Steel. Go figure.
Anyway. So, okay. So Steve Trevor throughout this whole thing is kind of like saying like they're behind like some cover, and they're saying like, you know, you need some help. I told you I don't need backup. Essentially, he just keeps going on saying, oh, look, I don't need backup here. I'm fine. Like, you know, you shouldn't be here, and I'm going to get into the reason maybe why he doesn't want her there in a minute. But so basically, in dialogue, we find as they're kind of kicking butt, taking names, they're shooting a bunch of guys, stabbing a bunch of guys. Again, really cool action sequence. Again, that's overall the big thing to take away from this. It's a fun little like third act action sequence. It's pretty neat. You know, as they're kind of fighting, and also this is another fun thing he did in Justice League all the time, of like fun banter while fighting.
Oh yeah, that's definitely like the strong point of the short, I'd say.
Yeah, so kind of setting up the status quo of the Wonder Woman in this Gods and Monsters universe. You know, yeah, she's really close to Steve Trevor, really close. Like, it's not what you said last night. You know, instead of turns out not needing backup, or not wanting to be alone. It says, well, you know, you are much more in control. Well, you know, you're much more in control in the bedroom than her saying, oh, you're cute when you think you're in control.
Oh yeah.
Something like that, just kind of showing that this is probably the most innuendo fused of the shorts.
Oh, most definitely, without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because it's like with the Batman short we had just really violent and deranged, and then with the Superman short we had just really, really incredibly heady, you know, dark implications. And then with this, it's just like the adult stuff is mostly just innuendo.
Yeah, you know, in this sequence we see a lot of killing again.
Right.
And again, Steve is repeating that he does not want her on this mission. So then ultimately the bad guys, he's like pinned with a really cool. I don't need your help. She throws the sword, like stabs the guy to the machine. And there's kind of a gripe with this. Like, I'll give it a pass, I guess. But one is just the main Cobra guy saying. But behold, our greatest creation, Gigant. I'm thinking, well, Steve, you have a gun. Shoot him. Someone kill this guy before he pushes the button. But, you know, you need this stuff to happen. Anyway, so
all right.
Pushes
so
the
we
button.
See...
oh, by the way, there's an Easter egg here, too.
Is there?
So much like with any of the Pixar Disney movies, they reuse props in an animation with the DC universe. And the container for the super weapon, that's actually Owlman's, James Woods Owlman's Doomsday device from Justice League Crisis on Two Earths.
Okay.
And basically, it's the same design, but only instead of being actually a bomb, which it usually is, it's a holding container. Just gets a little neat little nod to it. All so right. Basically, it says, "Behold, Giganta."
And if this was a lighter show, if this was perhaps a more comedic show, then the scene might go a little something like this.
All I want to do is see you turn into a giant woman, a giant woman. All I want to be is someone who gets to see a giant woman. All I want to do is help you turn into a giant woman, a giant woman. All I want to be is someone who gets to see a giant woman. Oh, I know it'll be great, and I just can't wait to see the person you are together. If you give it a chance, you can do a huge dance. Cause you are a giant woman, you might even like being together. And if you don't, it won't be forever. But if it were me, I really want to be a giant woman, a giant woman. All I want to do is see you turn into a giant woman.
Yeah, all right. Now, Blue Dragon 5, if you watch Steven Universe, then there's awesome songs like that almost every episode. So, just a selling point for you. Anyways, I'm sorry about that. Just a little diversion.
So in this version, this reimagining of Wonder Woman, we see Giganta. Usually, Tiki Giganta is just a woman is like a giant woman who has the ability to grow even bigger.
Okay.
So basically the
so very appropriate with that song, actually.
That's usually in Justice League, the animated series, they actually had a fun little gag with her powers. That's kind of something she doesn't usually have in the comics. So it was like Jennifer Hale, who voiced her, had this really good idea when she approached the character that the bigger she grows, the more girly she acts.
That's really funny. Oh,
so
God.
basically, like she wears like high heels and stuff. She'd be like kicking things. Oh, I stepped in something. And that's the idea. It's kind of like fun. Anyway. So this version, Giganta is just like it's a cybernetic robot, which is still pretty cool. Yeah, for reimagining, we don't have like all the One mythos in this version, so it's just like, well, it's just a little name drop to, hey, Giganta.
I have it written down in my notes. Giant blue Dr. Manhattan robot woman.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Well, yeah, because she doesn't have a dangling penis.
Well,
okay, anyways.
I was thinking of something else, but okay.
Oh, dear. I think I just went a little too far myself.
Yeah,
so let's just keep going.
Anyway.
I apologize.
Okay, so basically, then we have, here's one gag that kind of bothers me. Again, Okay, so Steve Trevor, this one just basically feels really, I'm not going to say cliche, I'm not sure if that's the right word, but the point is, like, Steve Trevor, right, as the guy pushes the button, the big clanging inside the giant, inside the giant container for Giganta, before it's revealed that she's a giant blue robot, Steve Trevor just reiterates, hey, listen, you're leaving, this is my mission. And then the gag's funny. It's just like the premise of it is like, Giganta emerges, and then just Wonder Woman with a smile on her face, like puts sheathes the sword, puts it on her belt. Just go ahead, it's all yours. So it's just saying.
I mean, I think at this point, it's kind of like Trevor is just, he's just kind of stupid.
Yeah,
I mean, he should obviously be knowing, hey, you got Wonder Woman here. It's like she might be able to help you not die in this situation.
Yeah. Plus, a big thing, if it were me, Tiki, I'm not an action hero by any stretch, but still, if I were, intimidating guy in a snake costume pushes a button, and there's a big clanging thing from a giant structure in the background, like bang, bang, bang. And I don't have powers, yet the person next to me has the ability to create just interdimensional portals to go in and out of places. Also, is a trained warrior, has a sword, and as far as I can tell, is pretty invulnerable. I'm going to tell that person, hey, go home. That, to me, not a good idea. See, the minute that big clanging thing, I'm gonna say, "Hey, please help me, please."
Right.
That's just me, though.
Might be a good idea.
Anyway, so again, that is the worst time to go on your whole mission spiel. At that moment, seriously, do you not think of okay, maybe I can't handle this. Maybe I could use a little help. Okay, so anyway, then we see, basically, it gets a fun setup though of hey, I'm not gonna help you. I'm just gonna watch. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
Anyways, while that's happening, we do see Steve Trevor. He gives a good effort. He does all he can do, which is impressive. He's using 2 guns, bazookas, doing a lot of cool stuff, really fun. And it's just pretty funny, just her waiting on the side, saying, "How's it going?"
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, so then a battle unfolds, and he says, "Yes, I need your help, please." Then she helps.
What was that?
Yep, and then she helps out, and she's cutting the thing's arm off, but still putting up a big fight. Battle unfurls. She's in kind of a moment there where the sword's away from her. Apparently, she can get. The people have said this. I'm not the first, but saying he's kind of like Mjolnir for Thor, of the sword can come to her.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so she's on the ground. It's looking real tense, and then basically Giganta. I mean, I know she's invulnerable, but still, you don't know how invulnerable, because then she's getting stomped. She pulls out a giant metal wall, throws it on her, and stomps on Wonder Woman. It's ouch. But then, thankfully, apparently, she teleported at some point, because then using the mother box sword, she uses a boom tube to travel. And
yeah, at
basically,
some point, good timing, good timing.
a really cool bit for defeating your giant robot, by the way, just like, appears in the back, cuts right into the head, opens it up, and he rips out some wiring, fall, and another boom tube opens up, and hey, we did it, all right. Steve's about to call it in, and then Wonder Woman just kind of like takes the phone out of his hand, crushes it, brings him close, rips up his shirt, and she's looking, she's like she's getting some amorous, and he's saying, "Wait, here now?" So the point is, they enjoy the spoils of victory together, and he asks if he needs a safe word.
They very much do.
And they probably, it seems like he's going to need a safe word.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think we can just sum it up. It's fun. It's harmless. I mean, it's not nearly as sophisticated as the other two, I think.
Right. And also, let me just go through some kind of what's the details in the reimagining.
Sure.
Okay, so here's the story behind this one. So this Wonder Woman is not Diana Prince. She is not an Amazon. None of the kind of classic Wonder Woman stuff applied for this one. Basically, she just takes the name. That's about it.
Okay.
So here's who she really is. And this is going to be important. You're going to see this unfold in the movie. Okay, this is going to be a definite plot line. I'm sure you're going to see the origins for all three of these guys in the movies, like we've gotten in the trailer. So we'll see that unfold for each of them. But because again, the title is Gods and Monsters, and she comes from basically the gods side of that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So she is in the comics. Her character's name is Becca.
Okay.
Now Becca is in the comics, and in this version too, she was the bride of Orion. Now Orion, Tiki, is a really interesting story. I'm going to pare it down to the essential here. Just basically with the new gods being kind of the godlike figures of the DC universe. You have Darkseid, who's on the evil side of that, Apocalypse, and on the good side you have like just the new gods, the forever people, like those guys. Like they're like your good guys of the godlike universe. There's like a bunch of like really nice people. Anyway, so basically, they're at war with each other, and obviously our nice guys don't want to go to war with the Apocalypse, who just feed on carnage and terror. Yet our good guys have a lot of good strengths. So basically, they work up a peace treaty. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the peace treaty is they exchange to the leader of that world, the High Father and Darkseid. Basically, I'll give you my firstborn son. You give me your firstborn son. We trade sons and we raise them. That's our peace treaty. Basically, we swear never to attack the other one. Now, eventually, that falls through, as you can imagine. Point is, High Father traded Darkseid, one of their kids, and that turned into a Superman villain known as. All the new gods are Superman villains, pretty much.
Yeah, sure.
Turns into Kickback, which is really it's such a sad story because Kickback, he could have been such a nice guy, but he's raised by Darkseid, turns like kind of this monster Hamlet-like situation of a son.
So basically, all the Superman villains in this universe are just completely tragic.
Yeah, well, all the new gods are Superman villains.
Right,
so the point is, Kickback is just kind of like it's sad story because he always wants to impress his father, who Darkseid would never accept him because he's not his actual son.
Mm-hmm.
And he always like says, he honors his father. He wants to please his father, but his father's like, Kickback, you're always slipping up, losing to the son of Jor-El. But actually, not son of Jor-El. You're always losing to the Kryptonian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his point is like he's always like disappointed his father. And here's the important part. So Darkseid traded his son, Orion. Now Orion was traded to the high. Basically, a son of Darkseid who was a bad guy, but he was raised by good people, and he became a hero. He became a good guy named Orion. Basically, a guy in a red suit who has this really cool little thing worked up so he can fly around and shoot things, but he has like a really cool helmet. Point is, guy with evil in his blood turns good. That's in a nutshell. And he has a wife named Becca. That's Becca's origin. So basically, Becca
sounds a lot like an origin.
What?
In a way, I said it sounds kind of like the Superman origin in a way.
It's also got kind of like a royal. I mean, I watched the show. Maybe kind of a Games of Thronesian type situation. I'm guessing. I don't know.
We'd have to ask England about that. He's the Game of Thrones expert.
So the point is, you get the gist of Orion there, like kind of like son of evil bad guy in the DC universe, raised by good people who kind of hates his father, but he basically wants revenge against Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so then he has a wife named Becca, and that wife is actually Wonder Woman in this universe. So the idea is Becca in this movie, Becca, the wife of Orion, she's still the wife of Orion here, but she runs away at some point. So she's like a trained apocalyptic warrior, hence the sword that creates a mother box. So she's a trained warrior. I can only assume she's a female Fury, which is basically the high-ranking female guard of Darkseid's army. Like he has like female warriors at his beckoning call.
Okay.
Like he basically 6. Like those are his most fiercely trained demonic warriors. So they basically, same as I can only assume Becca's one of these because she seems really well trained. Point is, that Becca, she's raised in Apocalypse. She's which is a horrible existence in itself. She's married to Orion, who's a nice guy. And basically, she leaves Orion, leaves Apocalypse, and she flees. And I don't know what happens from that point on. I just know she eventually goes to Earth in this version, and she, becomes Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. So the point is, Becca from Apocalypse, hence the sword, and that's pretty much it in a nutshell. She comes from a really kind of violent upbringing, pretty much.
Right.
And there's a few questions to go over here. It's like it looks like she struck up a Wonder Woman, a classic Wonder Woman bond with Steve Trevor. That's how it usually goes. You want Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor, so it's kind of.
Well, obviously the implication here is that they're romantically involved, or at least sleeping together at the very least.
Oh, definitely. I think we're going to see some interesting stuff in those I got from the trailers with these two of the public might think that, hey, you're with Superman, aren't you? And it's going to be like, no, I'm not. No man owns me. That sort of thing. Basically, like the whole, look, don't just pair me off with this guy. This guy's a pig. I don't like this guy. That sort of thing.
Shots fired at Superman. Shots fired.
No, yeah, it's literally what you see like Superman try some cheesy pickup lines on her. She says, "Oh, you just got less sexy." It's what she literally says in the trailer.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so I get a sense there's a lot of Thor in this reimagining of her, of kind of coming from a distant land, kind of fish out of water.
Of course, sure. I think Thor is kind of like a good blueprint for Wonder Woman if you look at it. Like she is kind of the Thor of the DC universe.
And I've seen a few versions of that with her, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like in the comics with the New 52, there was one really funny gag where it's like she experiences ice cream for the first time, and it's like kind of like a Thor thing. Mm-hmm. It was just adorable. Yeah, it's like she
slammed down her eyes and then demand another.
No, but she thinks the vendor created ice cream though. That's kind of the gag.
Oh, okay.
You're a great chef. You created this. This is enjoyable. And anyway, so it's neat to see they are carrying over Wonder Woman stuff, yet it's not unfolding exactly like with Wonder Woman. So she doesn't have the whole Amazonian no men in our life sort of thing. She comes from the life where we identify ourselves by how brutal and how vicious we are. Yeah. So let me run this by one last thing I got really on this. I don't really have much to offer for the Wonder Woman thing because again I don't really know a lot about her. Plus the short didn't really offer a lot of information on her for what we're gonna get.
It really didn't, especially compared to the other two. Yeah.
So again, really not a lot to talk about. Let me just hit you one idea I think I might have for this. I'm getting the sense because you wonder why is Steve Trevor so dense as to say, hey, listen, get out of here. I don't need your help. Why would he be so dense? Here's my only explanation I think actually makes a little sense. That maybe it's like the government wants her to not assist. Basically saying we can't trust an outside. Basically, the government and by proxy Steve Trevor, they don't want her to help out because she's like an unauthorized agent who would be assisting in like a government or a political matter. It's like usually Wonder Woman, she's like an ambassador between Themyscira, the Amazon place, and the U.S. So she's actually like a diplomat in regular comics, and this is kind of the reverse of that, of the government. No, we don't want her help because she's not a soldier. She's not authorized by us. She's an agent. She's killing people left and right, unsanctioned. We got only soldiers can do that. We command to do that. She operates on her own. She's more powerful than any of our soldiers. We can't trust her. That sort of thing,
Sure.
And I like to think Steve Trevor's just saying that to kind of protect him and her from getting into a political situation like that.
That's an interesting theory. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the whole, kind of the Superman dilemma as well. He's got so much power, and it's like we're giving it to. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I kind of read it as, this is going to sound silly, but I genuinely mean this. I mean, it's kind of like how the whole arrangement. I emphasize the arrangement Batman and Gordon have, I can't acknowledge that you're helping me out here, but you are helping me out. So basically, it's like an early stage version of that, maybe. Of like, I don't want you here, but even though I do need you here.
Sure.
'Cause even what Batman Gordon does a lot of the time start out like, we don't need your help, but yeah, you do, Jim. You need my help.
Mm-hmm.
So that sort of thing. Basically, kind of a Batman Gordon dynamic, maybe. Again, we'll see how it goes with these two.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, again, just to emphasize again, the Mother Box sword is really cool.
I think we get the point. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think the Cobra guys actually got the point, but
very literally, yes. Okay,
yes.
so
overall, what do you got?
Well, I think I pretty much said my piece on it. It's fun, it's enjoyable. I like the banter. I like Wonder Woman really. She's really kind of sticking it to Trevor when he's she's like, oh, what's that? You want my help? I didn't quite hear you. So, it's fun. It's just not anything too substantial. I think that your comparison to, like, the final part of a serial actually works really well in this regard.
Yeah, again, I think it captures kind of like, I guess it's kind of setting up, like, some of the action scenes we're going to see in the movie, like, kind of like things that are twisting what on their head a smidge, but also keeping it true to what you kind of classically like about the character, but with some twists and turns along the way. It's gonna be reminiscent to what about the animated DC universe, or like kind of reminiscent of that, but it'll be in this kind of this Gods and Monsters status quo. Which again, maybe it goes like this: Batman just kind of grabbed our attention. Superman set up kind of a lot of ideas and stuff of what's going to happen. Basically, Wonder Woman was like subtly the effect of all that stuff.
Okay, I could see that.
Maybe a bit of that. I could be stretching, but we'll see. Point is, it was fun, and it got some cool, like a different version of Wonder Woman. Seeing a really cool Steve Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
It could be fun. Anyways,
right.
I'm still. I think overall, there's not last thoughts on this, but like kind of thoughts before we go into eventually Gods and Monsters, the movie.
Well, I mean, I enjoy the concept. I'm not the biggest DC guy. We still need to do our whole animated Batcave, because I still need to I still need to watch the Batman the Animated Series. I'm only 6 or 7 or 8 episodes into that, how many ever it is. So really, I'm kind of a noob when it comes to the DC universe, but I like the concept of the alternate stuff, just because I feel like for people such as myself who are kind of interested in the characters but don't really want the all the canon and backstory, just kind of being like, well, here's a fresh, different take on it. It's doesn't have anything to do with the usual stuff. It's different. So I appreciate it in that regard. And I haven't seen a lot of the DC movies, but I'll probably check this one out just for curiosity factor, and mostly, honestly, because I really like the Superman in this, and also Michael C. Hall as a vampire Batman is also good. So yeah, it piqued my interest.
Oh yeah. The idea that this might just be a first season, we're gonna get even more, just really interests me. Of like, oh man, there could be even more versions of this. Could be really awesome. With other characters of DC Universe, maybe this first movie we're getting, ideally, we'll get more of this, and maybe even like another movie. Who knows if it's good? Maybe we'll root for more.
I mean, if it's already got a season 2 of shorts, I'd say they're at least talking about the possibility of another movie.
Basically, DC animation. Bruce Timm never hurt the DC animated universe. Let's bring that guy in for everything, or at least a lot of everything.
Oh yeah.
So the point is, like, these were really interesting. That was an interesting idea for them to kind of spark some interest in this. Some people have said, well, why just some people said it might be a little pointless to release shorts where ultimately they're going to be on the DVD, but that's the point. The DVDs aren't selling that well. They gotta spark interest somehow.
Yeah, I mean, like, I bought usually, like, right now I'm just buying DVDs as like a once a year gift to my dad. Like, I bought him Guardians of the Galaxy on DVD, and then I'll probably buy him Mad Max on his birthday if it comes out by August. But I am not buying DVDs myself. I mean, it's like, I'm sorry, but there's the internet now. It's just how it is. I mean, it's a shame. I love physical media, but frankly, my DVD collection, I haven't really kept up with the most, because DVDs are like, it's hard to maintain. It's like they scratch easily and whatnot. So I don't know. As the years have gone on, I've kind of become more used to streaming and all that good jazz.
Right, but not even just DVDs. I'm saying checking these out and purchasing and renting or online and streaming any of it. And it's points like just paying money to experience like the full length movies. there's a serious. I want to just put this in people's minds. There's a serious risk coming up, but these movies really are underperforming big time. So the point is, this idea of like kind of releasing these little shorts, kind of promoting these things, is a really good idea because otherwise, you know, these movies might come to an end after this movie. There's a genuine chance of that happening.
Even the Batman ones.
What do you mean? Oh, they mean like unlimited and stuff? No, that's out. That's not counted within this.
No, I don't mean unlimited. I mean just in general, like adaptations of Batman stuff, and because aren't the Batman ones still doing well?
Well, the last, no, not really.
Not really. Okay.
Well, I mean, Assault on Arkham did well. I mean, the point is like they're even in general with the good movies, they're still underperforming. I mean, even with these worse ones, they're still underperforming. Even
so
worse.
basically, what you're saying is that we can't have these things die before we get a Killing Joke adaptation.
That's one way of saying it. Yes, I mean, even not even just Killing Joke. I'm saying stuff like Red Sun. There's a lot of untapped potential. You even see, like, if we're getting good stuff like this from Bruce Timm, I mean, like we could get more stuff like that from Bruce Timm if we still kind of promote this stuff the way they're doing it now, which is kind of a brilliant idea of doing this Justice League Chronicles thing. It's sparking interest, and I'm hoping this interest does at least keep the movies around so they can find their stride again. Go back to the original days of when these movies are really spectacular, you know. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, it looks like in this direction they're starting to find their way again. I mean, look around the last Batman versus Robin movie. It wasn't perfect by any stretch, but at least it tried. They're trying right now. You know, like they're trying, but also they have interesting ideas they can delve into, and they want to. But again, we just need that interest, need that kind of monetary support with that too.
Okay.
Which, I mean, I think these shorts have done a great job. Like, at the end of it, you're sucked into this, and at the end it says, you know, hey, pre-order this movie. They're checking out. It's coming out soon. Which I would hope people who watch this like we did will see, you know, I'm going to check this out. How can I not after these interesting ideas have been presented to me? So, you know, hopefully.
No, I mean, yeah, I'll definitely give it a rental when it shows up.
So hopefully people will check out Gods and Monsters, and hopefully that will kind of give us some more interesting glimpses into what could possibly be in the DC original animated universe films.
Okay, so I'd say that about sums it up, right?
Yep.
All right, well, thank you guys for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this whole retrospective series on these shorts. And in the meantime, Wonder Woman! Away! All I want to do is see you turn into a giant woman,